For more than 2,000 years, Rome has stood at the center of power. Emperors ruled from here. Wars were planned here. Decisions made in this city changed the course of history. Every year, millions of people walk these streets, without realizing they are standing beside a country that shouldn't exist. A country completely surrounded by Italy, yet belonging only to itself. Rome was never just a city. It became the heart of the greatest empire the ancient world had ever known. From here, millions were governed. Roads connected continents. Laws were written that still influence nations today. And although the Roman Empire disappeared centuries ago, its legacy never truly left the city. The heart of Rome kept beating, only under a different kind of power. But before we discover how Vatican City was born, we first need to put this story into context. Because only by understanding the importance of Rome can we understand how such a small piece of land became one of the most influential places in the world. For centuries, men, women, and children walked thousands of miles toward a single destination, Rome. It didn't matter where they came from Northern Europe, from France, from the ancient kingdoms of the Iberian Peninsula, or from the farthest corners of Europe. They all followed the same roads. Because reaching Rome meant far more than completing a journey. It meant reaching the spiritual heart of Europe. The Romans built one of the greatest road networks in history, so extraordinary that centuries later it was still connecting cities, kingdoms, and cultures. That is where a famous saying was born. All roads lead to Rome. It was more than just a phrase. It reflected the extraordinary influence the city held over Europe. And it was in the heart of that very city that one of the most remarkable stories of the 20th century would unfold. For centuries, Rome welcomed kings, emperors, pilgrims, and millions of believers. But while the world looked toward this city, very few people knew that the man living behind these walls had lost his country. For more than 1,000 years, the popes were not only spiritual leaders, they also governed a vast territory known as the Papal States, cities, farmland, fortresses, thousands of square kilometers under their administration. But everything changed in the 19th century. Italy was changing. For decades, different kingdoms had fought to become one nation. This process became known as the Unification of Italy. In 1870, Rome became part of the Kingdom of Italy. The Papal States disappeared, and the Pope lost the territory he had ruled for centuries. Everything changed in 1870. For decades, Italy had fought to become one nation. The dream of unification was finally within reach. But one obstacle still remained. At the very heart of the peninsula, a vast territory was still outside the Kingdom of Italy. These were the Papal States, and they were ruled by the Pope. For more than 1,000 years, the popes had not only guided millions spiritually, they also governed cities, farmland, fortresses, and a vast region across central Italy. But the new kingdom had one goal, one flag, one nation, one capital, Rome. Two powers, one city, only one could remain. On September 20, 1870, the Papal States ceased to exist. Pope Pius IX no longer ruled a country, but he also refused to recognize the authority of the new Kingdom of Italy. From that day on, he never left the Vatican. He refused to accept the loss of his territory, or recognize Rome as part of the Kingdom of Italy. For nearly 60 years, the popes considered themselves prisoners of the Vatican. Every time those doors closed, they did more than protect the Pope. They marked an invisible border. Inside the Vatican, outside Italy, two worlds separated by only a few meters, yet unable to reach an agreement. While the Vatican remained isolated, Italy continued to grow. The new kingdom needed stability, but one problem never disappeared. It became known as the Roman question. For decades, no one could solve it. Governments changed, popes changed, but the conflict remained. Rome was the capital of Italy, and at the same time, the spiritual center of millions of Catholics. The situation seemed impossible to resolve, until one man decided to negotiate. His name was Benito Mussolini. After nearly 60 years, everything changed. With a single signature, after nearly 60 years, everything changed with a single signature. On February 11, 1929, representatives of the Kingdom of Italy and the Holy See met at the Lateran Palace. After decades of disagreement, they had finally reached a deal, an agreement that would change history forever. Italy officially recognized the sovereignty of Vatican City. The Pope recognized the Kingdom of Italy, with Rome as its capital. Neither side obtained everything it wanted, but both gained something even more valuable: peace. The vast territory once ruled by the popes was reduced to just 44 hectares, smaller than many city parks, yet its influence would reach every continent on Earth. Today, millions of people pass through these gates every year. Some arrive as tourists, others as pilgrims, many searching for answers. Few know the story that made this place possible, a story that did not begin with a war, nor end with a conquest, but with an agreement, the deal that gave birth to the world's smallest country. History is not always written by battles. Sometimes, it is written by a signature. Today, it covers just 44 hectares, smaller than many city parks. Yet from here, decisions are made, documents are signed, and words are spoken that reach millions of people around the world, all because of a deal signed nearly a century ago. History is not always written by wars. Sometimes, it is written by an agreement. Some borders are built with walls, others with history.